Hi everyone, it's Keren here with the part 2 of the Patina rusted altar tag that I created for Artist Live. This is the second part where I stained all the embellishments with some rust paste and patina paste. Unfortunately, the video that I had originally tried to download from Ustream did not work properly, and I wasn't able to upload it to YouTube. This is why it took so long for me to post this second part of this video. As you can see, this is what we did in the last one, and I will link the video from the part 1 below, and you can see all the elements that I used. I used some corrugated cardboard and some art stones, some chipboard for the background, and some metal embellishments and resins. The first thing I did, took some Prima Finnabair white gesso. It's a heavy type of gesso, and with a paintbrush I applied it onto the corrugated part of the background, the corrugated cardboard, and just added a little bit in some areas just to roughly cover it with a dry brush technique. As you can see, the corrugated cardboard also has some Prima Finnabair texture paste. This is a white sand clear texture paste, and it was already dried. Everything has been stuck on and dried from last week, so it didn't matter. I could just use the white gesso just to cover the metal star and some of the resin to let them have some grip, so when I apply the other mediums it works really well. So I'm just applying it roughly in different areas. It doesn't really matter. I'm not like trying to cover all of it. I'm just trying to cover some of it just to create a little bit of priming for the background. I just want to explain what I had to do because I wasn't able to download this video directly from Ustream, which is what I always do, and upload it to YouTube. So I had to basically record it on my screen in my computer and make sure that the whole thing is recorded, and I'm just editing and fast forwarding the whole video so I can cut out all the parts that are not needed. I hope it makes sense and it explains everything that I did, and I'm just going through it slowly. It's really important to put this layer and then dry it up so we could put other mediums on top and they will work really well. I'm also adding a little bit of gesso to the title so I could put the wax after. The next thing I did is took some of the Holtz alcohol inks. If you watch the first part of the video, I created those stars that you see using some clear packaging and just cut out around the packaging from a Prima marketing star package from Finnabair. And what I did is I filled it up with beads, and now that it was dry, I took some of this mermaid color alcohol ink and just put it and dripped it inside the star. The reason why I use alcohol inks is because I really didn't want to have any texture to the stars. I just wanted to stain the beads in plain color. And I used some water just to spread the ink around a little bit. The nice thing about alcohol inks is that it does really well to stain things that are clear or metal, and things that are like can be stained easily and are smooth, like clear beads or just really nice metal, and it gives it a really nice effect. I took 3 colors from the new texture paste from Prima. This is the Patina rust paste in the mint green and the turquoise color or blue color, and I also took one of the older version of the rust paste, the red rust from another packaging. All the materials are listed in the description area below, so you can see what I have used. All the links and everything are listed as well. So I took the mint green color, as you can see here, and I'm just covering the star with a paintbrush. I'm using a Prima Finnabair paintbrush, and I'm just using it to cover everything on the star and adding all the mint green texture in the background. This gives a really nice patina-like effect once you add the other colors. I also adding some mint green on the resin that I created. and some other mint green all around. I brought the other tag that was already made to sit beside me so I could kind of follow what I wanted to do in which place. Then I took some of the blue patina rust effect and I added it in some other areas, and I just basically, it was kind of random. I didn't know where I was going to add it. I just wanted to have that color in certain places. As you can see, I don't really clean my brush in between. You don't have to do that. It's something that I choose to do, and I like to create a little bit of, I don't mind if it gets inside the tub, because all these colors mix up together, and it's really nice when they do mix together. So I like them to kind of all be mixed on the project, and that's just something that happens when I end up mixing them on the project. They end up mixing in the tub as well. But you could use 2 paint brushes, or you could just wash them in between. I did use a little bit of water. I would spray a little bit of water. It does help it spread a little bit in certain areas because it's water-based. It helps the paste basically spread everywhere, and it does a really good job so you could add it in a more thin of a layer than the really thick textured paste that you have, because it's pretty gritty. Both the blue one and the mint green is pretty gritty, and it goes on really thick. I continued adding both colors onto my tag by turning it around and just alternating between the mint green and the turquoise blue. The next step was to add the red rust paste in certain areas, and I focused mainly on adding it at the edges of the tag. I wanted to make sure that it's added in all the edges and mixed with the patina blue and mint green, because the mix together made a really cool rusted look. This is my favorite color out of the set, and it really creates a well rusted product that looks as if it's been rusted for many years. So I really like the effect that it gives, but I wanted the center to stay more bluish green, so that's why I added the red rust in certain areas, but mainly tried to stay in the outside of the tag. also added it in the edges of this large star and the smaller stars, and also on the wings and the different elements, just to add a little bit of a border around the different embellishments on my tag. I switched to a smaller paintbrush so I could really get in the edges of each of the embellishments. Now it was time to add the Tim Holtz alcohol inks. I started with the ginger color, which is a kind of rusted looking color as well, and I mainly added this in the edges, but also first underneath the star to kind of blend it down. So I added some of the color, and then with water blended down through the texture, and I did the same thing at the top because I wanted to create movement going up and down. Then I took the same one and I added it to the edges as well. The key to adding it to the edges is that I wanted to let it flow towards the inside. So I would add a little bit, squeeze a little bit of ink at the edge, and then let it flow through the corrugated cardboard. It gave it a really cool look, and I really like the way it framed the whole tag. The next thing I did is I took the alcohol ink teak wood, and I actually did the same thing, used it to frame the tag. This is a very dark color and it almost looks like burnt wood, and it's just a really nice color, and it's dark enough that it really creates a really nice rust effect around this tag. And I did the same thing. I just went around it and let it flow with a little bit of water around the tag to create an even darker frame. The last thing I did is I took the mermaid color again of the alcohol ink and added it on top of the little resin angel, and then just added water to kind of make the ink a little bit less blue and just less staining, and then just move the tag around to let the alcohol ink drip everywhere and create stains in the different areas around the star. Then I took the Prima Marketing Finnabair Art Alchemy Vintage Gold wax and started adding it around the different embellishments to enhance the highlights of the texture. I love this. Is my favorite wax of all the colors, and I use it so often, and I love using it with my fingers because I can really control it, and it creates a really nice effect on all the different elements and enhances the texture from every single embellishment you put on any project. also took the title and I stained it with the same vintage gold wax so it would match the rest of the project. I do apologize for the few advertisements that have popped up, like this one. This is part of the screen recording from Ustream and I couldn't remove it without showing my computer, so I had to leave them on and they just pop in and out. This is something that happens on Ustream, and because I was doing a screen recording of my screen of what I was doing, they just popped up that way. So I apologize for them. I took some soft matte gel from Prima Finnabair and just to glue my little title to the resin and just added it in the spot that I wanted it. I felt like the stars were a little bit too light, so I took some of the ginger alcohol ink again and I went around the edges of each of the stars and created a little bit of a darker border, because I felt they looked better that way as well. I also went around the stars and created a shadow underneath them so it would look like they would stand out a little bit more. And I did the same effect with the water. I would add a little bit of alcohol ink inside and then I would just mix it with the water and spread it all around. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for waiting for so long for this video to be uploaded. I apologize again for the mishap of not being able to upload it earlier, but it was out of my control and I just couldn't do anything about that. So I finally found a way to do it and I'm really happy with the result, and at least you don't have to watch the whole live show. Thank you so much for watching again. If you love this video, please like it and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye!